A neat shut-in gamer Kazuma Satou, who rarely comes out from his room, heads out to buy the first edition of the newly launched popular RPG video game. While returning back to his home, he encounters a girl from his high school and sees a high-speed truck is about to hit her, so he rushes in to push the girl out of the way, dying as a result. In the afterlife, Kazuma is greeted by a cute girl. She tells him that the girl he was trying to save is fine now because the tractor was going to stop before it hit her and he died in vain. She further explains that he didn't even die from the accident, he mistook the tractor for a truck and died from the shock, and then makes fun of him. She introduces herself as a goddess named Aqua who guides people in their afterlife. She offers him two choices, first is to restart his life again, and the second one is to go to heaven, but she personally recommends him to go to an RPG-like fantasy world. In order to fight with the Demon King, she gives him the option to choose anything present in the room, it could be any ability or powerful weapon. Several minutes later, Kazuma, annoyed by Aqua's attitude, decides to choose her instead. Just then another goddess appears, she starts the teleportation process and sends them to another world. They arrived in another world's town called Axial. With Aqua unable to return until the Devil King is defeated, the two visits the Adventure Guild to register as adventurers. They don't have money to pay the registration fee. Aqua sees a priest and asks him to lend her some money as his goddess, but the priest belongs to another church called the Eris sect. The priest still took pity on her and lent her some money, saying not to pose as a goddess again. Then they register themselves as adventurers, with Kazuma assigned to a rather generic adventurer class, while Aqua is assigned as an archpriest. The two then proceed to spend the following weeks sleeping in a stable and working a carefree life as laborers, before eventually remembering that they need to do some actual adventuring. The next morning, the two decide to take a quest. The quest is to kill 5 giant toads in 3 days. During the quest, Aqua has proven to be completely useless and she gets eaten by a toad. At end of the day, Kazuma alone defeats 2 toads and saves her. The following night, Kazuma and Aqua decide to seek out members to join their party. The next day, half of the day has passed and nobody comes to join their party. It is because Aqua put a condition that only advanced class adventures are required. They are soon approached by Arc Wizard Megumin, capable of performing powerful explosion magic. Due to her high stats, they recruit her into their party and take her to complete the quest. During the quest, while Megumin prepares to cast her spell, Aqua and Kazuma try to distract the toads. Aqua is just useless as before get eaten by the toad again. Megumin then completes her preparation and uses powerful explosion magic to kill a giant toad. Impressed with Megumin's magic, Kazuma soon discovers that Megumin, unable to move her muscles, becomes completely useless after using her magic only one time. Now she also gets eaten by toads. At last, Kazuma completes the quest and saves both of them. While returning back to town, Kazuma bans Megumin to use her explosion magic and suggests she should learn other magic also, which she refuses. Kazuma then thinks to ditch her, but she starts causing a commotion. Now the people on the streets think Kazuma is a pervert. To save his image, he has no option but to keep her. Later, Kazuma submits his report to the guild and receives the reward of the quest. While he was counting his reward money, is approached by a female crusader named Darkness. She asks him to let her join his party, but due to her odd behavior, he ignores her request. The next day, when Kazuma was thinking to learn new skill, Darkness again approaches him and asks him to let her his party, which he refuses immediately. Then, Darkness' thief friend, Chris arrives, who offers him to teach one of the thief's skills. Chris recommends him to learn a particular skill called Steal and shows him how to use it. Kazuma then allocates all his points to learning that skill. After learning the Steal skill, he uses it on Chris and steals her panty, then wave it into the air. Kazuma returns back to the guild and starts showing his newly acquired skill to Aqua and Megumin and steals Megumi's panty. Just then, Guild announces the emergency quest and orders every adventurer to gather in front of the town's gate. It's a quest to harvest flying cabbage swarming towards the town. The quest begins and everyone starts harvesting the cabbages. Meanwhile, Darkness never lands a hit on her targets but demonstrates her ability to withstand enemy attacks while also showing off her nature as a masochist. On the other hand, excited Megumin blows away the whole area with her powerful explosion magic. After the quest, Darkness, Megumin, and Aqua become good friends, and Kazuma has no choice but to accept Darkness into his party. The next day, only high-level requests are available in the guild. The receptionist informs them that there is a decline in requests due to one of the Devil King's generals moving in nearby. Later, Kazuma accompanies Megumin to her magic practice, and they find an abandoned castle inside the jungle. She uses it as her target. Now this becomes their daily routine, and several weeks has passed. One day Guild announced the emergency situation and calls every adventurer to gather in front of the city's gate. At the city's gate, one of the Demon King's army's leaders, Verdi of the Dullahan, who had been living in that very castle, comes to find out who had been attacking his castle on a daily basis. Since Megumin was the culprit, she comes forward and challenges him to a fight. Aqua also joins the party along with Megumin. When Verdia is about to put a death curse on Megumin, Darkness intervenes and takes that curse upon her instead. Verdia then takes his leaves, demanding Megumin to come to his castle within a week if she wants to save Darkness's life. Right after Verdia takes his leave, however, Aqua simply removes the curse from Darkness, eliminating the need to make the journey to the castle. Everyone praises her for saving Darkness's life. The next morning, due to only a high-level quest available and desperately wants to earn money, Aqua tasks a request to clean a lake filled with crocodiles monster. To keep Aqua safe, they put her inside an iron cage and arrive at their destination. While Aqua peacefully purifying the lake, the monster shows up and attacks Aqua. Seven hours later, Aqua somehow manages to purify the lake but is left somewhat traumatized from hours of alligator attacks. Elsewhere in the mountains, Kyoya Mitsurugi, another human Aqua had sent to Axel, is fighting against a dragon. He defeats the dragon in a single blow with his cursed sword called Gram. Later in the town, Mitsurugi encounters Aqua and others. He is less than pleased with the way Aqua is seemingly being treated and breaks the cage to set Aqua free. It seems that Aqua doesn't even remember his name though. Mitsurugi also invites Darkness and Megumin to join his party, which they refuse. Then he challenges Kazuma to a duel over Aqua, saying if he wins he will take Aqua with him. Kazuma, without giving him any chance to react, attacks him and defeats him quickly by stealing his cursed sword with his steel skill. Kazuma then takes Mitsurugi's sword with him. The next day, while looking for Kazuma, Mitsurugi arrives at the guild. Aqua beats Mitsurugi and recovers the amount of the cage that he broke yesterday. Then Mitsurugi asks Kazuma to return his, but becomes shocked to find that Kazuma had sold his sword. The guild again announces the emergency and asks everyone to come to the gate, Kazuma's party in particular. At the gate, since no one visits Verdi's castle even after a week, he comes to find out the reason. At the gate, since no one visits Verdi's castle even after a week, he comes to find out the reason and is annoyed that Megumin had still been using his castle for explosion practice. But this time Aqua was the one who helped her. Verdia says to them that he is disappointed in them as they don't care about their comrades. However, he is surprised to see Darkness is alive. Aqua then makes fun of him and uses purification magic on him. Verdia, after proving easily susceptible to Aqua's purification magic, summons an undead army. He orders them to kill everyone, but they start chasing Aqua instead. Kazuma then manages to gather all the monsters around the Verdia and has Megumin blast them away with explosion magic. Magic annihilates every monster, only Verdia is left alone. Darkness then decides to fight him head-on. During the fight between Darkness and Verdia, Kazuma manages to find Verdia's weakness and tells others to cast water spells on him. Kazuma then tells Aqua that water is Verdia's weakness and asks her to cast any water magic on him. Aqua uses high-level water magic, causing floods all over the town. The magic weakens Verdia, and Kazuma manages to steal Verdia's head. Then he starts playing soccer with it alone with everyone. Aqua uses this chance to defeat Verdia with her purification magic. The next day, Kazuma and his party earn a 100 million Eris reward for defeating Verdia. Kazuma calls a group meeting and decides to live luxurious life with the reward. But the receptionist informs that all his rewards are put towards paying off the damages Aqua's flood caused to the town. And now he is in debt. After the battle with Verdia, season has changed and needing money to pay off his debts despite the freezing weather, Kazuma and his party take the quest to kill snow sprites. During their quest, everything was going fine until Megumin used his powerful explosion magic to kill all sprites at once. Megumin's magic attracts the attention of a powerful monster called Winter Shogun. Winter Shogun kills Kazuma and sends him to the world's afterlife. In his second afterlife, Kazuma meets another goddess named Eris. Eris offers him the chance to be reincarnated into Japan once again to live comfortable and easy life. Just as Eris about to reincarnate him, Aqua uses her resurrection magic on his body. Eris tells him, according to heaven's law, it is impossible to send him to the same world again. Aqua then threatens Eris to reveal her personal secret. So Eris has no choice but to send him back to the same world. Kazuma returns back to life, and girls are pleased to see him alive. Later, Kazuma and Aqua visit a magic tool shop run by a kind-hearted lick named Wiz. As Wiz is a lick, Aqua holds grudge against her. Kazuma asks Wiz to teach him some skills. Wiz reveals that used to be one of the leaders of the Demon King's army. Aqua pins her down and tries to exorcise her. Wiz tells them she just protects the barriers surrounding the castle, and then she offers Kazuma to teach Drain skill. After learning the Drain skill, Kazuma and the party takes on a request to exorcise evil spirits from a mansion where they are allowed stay during the winter. After settling their luggage and belongings, everyone goes to the bed. Later at midnight, Kazuma wakes desperately, needs to go to the toilet, but is scared of the possessed doll. He runs away to find Aqua, enters her room, but finds Megumin instead. Megumin is also facing the same situation as him. So Kazuma tries to go ahead of her, but she stops him, insisting he go together. Then both of them find themselves on the run from an army of possessed dolls. Megumin go ahead and use the toilet first. A few minutes later, Kazuma could not hold back and opened the door. The following morning, Kazuma receives the reward for exorcising evil spirits. However, Aqua reveals that her actions after first meeting Wiz led to the mansion being haunted in the first place. He decides to not take the reward. The next day, during the morning, walking, Kazuma noticed Keith and Dust, his fellow adventurers, looking somewhere in an alley. They tell him about a particular shop famous for male adventurers. The three visits the shop. It's a shop run by Succubus who provide male adventurers with much needed relief by giving them erotic dreams. Kazuma fills all his requirements and returns home. After having a luxurious crab meal sent by Darkness family, Kazuma goes to bed early before anyone. Kazuma is unable to sleep due to excitement and decides to take a deep bath. He falls asleep in the bath. A few times later, when Kazuma wakes up, he finds Darkness also entering the bath. Kazuma thinks it's all his dream and tries to order her to do dubious things. Before they can proceed further, it's discovered that Aqua has trapped an intruder inside her barrier. The intruder is none other than a succubus who comes to incite his dream. Kazuma gets beaten up by the others while trying to help the succubus escape. The next day, Kazuma tells Darkness a made-up story that he was in under the control of succubus magic and doesn't remember anything that happened last night. Just then, the guild announces the warning that a mobile fortress known as the Destroyer approaches the town. The guild advises every citizen to evacuate immediately and calls every adventure report to the guild. Inside the guild, with Aqua's barrier-breaking magic and Megumin's explosion magic, Kazuma's party is perfectly suited for the job, later joined by Wiz, are chosen to lead an attack against the Destroyer. While others prepare for the battle, Darkness reveals her true identity to Kazuma, that her true name is Dustiness Ford La Latina, the daughter of a well-regarded family who governs the city. As the Destroyer approaches the city, Aqua uses her barrier-breaking spell to break the Destroyer's barrier. Wiz and Megumin then attack with their powerful explosion magic and manage to take down the Destroyer. Now the Destroyer's self-destruction sequence has began. To stop the destruction, Kazuma and other heads inside and manage to find its core. Kazuma asks Wiz to teleport it elsewhere, saying he will take the responsibility. Then he restores Megumi's magic with his Drain Touch. Megumin uses a powered-up explosion to destroy the fortress. After that, the next day, the knights come to arrest Kazuma as the power source he teleported away ends up destroying a noble's mansion. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, share the video and subscribe to the channel.